He came close to representing USA in the E-Nations, but he unfortunately went out in the final there. But here we go then. The bracket has been reset, and we are away in our second matchup between Gustavo and M3MITO. As usual, Gustavo going to be in his pink from left to right, and M3MITO in the full white strip from right to left.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first goal is going to be important. In any final it is. And if KRU Gustavo manages to win again, you know, we're having a season in which actually South America and North America are looking pretty strong. But like the top players are actually pretty clear. That's it. You know, we see it in Joxan, we see it in Matthias, Resende, PHC. So a lot of back-to-back champions or two-time champions, even three-time champions, or in case of not human beings like Joxan or Matthias, three-time champions of qualifiers, and then on top of that, CONMEBOL E-Libertadores champion, and in case of Joxan, back-to-back E-Club World Cup champion. So honestly, I think this season is looking like one of the best chances for South America or North America to win the FIFA World Cup.
Absolutely. Some very strong competitors with a lot of consistency, as now M3MITO pushing forward. There's that usual wall of pink. Tries to just bridge his way around the first defender with Neymar, and it's not successful. So he'll have to rethink about trying to get past them in another way, and maybe it's going to be one of those counter-attacks. We did see his game plan kind of shifted in the first leg, Uli, where he was trying to, you know, build slowly, but then he realized that Gustavo was somewhat exposed with less players behind when he went for that counter-attack. And I wonder whether he's going to try something similar here in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gustavo has shown that he's comfortable. You know, when you are attacking slowly, he knows how to defend perfectly when you're just trying to make possession. But the thing is, for counterattacks, that's when he might be a bit vulnerable, but just a bit. He's still so tough in defense.
Well, Mbappe manages to worm his way into the box, but it's a penalty. Referee getting himself involved again.
I think it's me.
That was a harsh challenge.
I'm the jinx about the ref.
Maybe it's Uli's fault, but Gustavo might be thanking Uli Bari, and it's another fantastic penalty. He goes bottom right again. We saw that quite a lot during his penalty shootout earlier. Trademark celebration, and it's a goal lead. But Uli, it's another dodgy penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's you, Dan, because On said if he had seen this, I don't know. I think the broadcast would be over. At least for him, you would have to, you know, come from the bench to cover him, because I'm sure like he can't take this anymore from the refs. Like, he is really begging for VAR for FIFA 22.
I think it's one of those things where Onset lives it so much in his weekend league when all of that goes against him. I'm a little bit more lucky. I seem to be on the ref's good side, let's put it that way. But for Gustavo, he's going to be more than happy with that. M3MITO, however, you saw the frustration in his player cam. He's had a questionable red card and a couple of penalties go against him, and he'll probably be wondering when Lady Luck's going to turn his way, but at the moment needs to focus on defending. It's Bruno Fernandes marching forward. There's the bridge, gets away from the man. It's a great save from Pope.
Great stuff here from KRU Gustavo. I mean, we see how before applying the directional nutmeg, he just turns 2 times just with the left analog. That's all you need, and then you make the directional nutmeg, and that's one of the best skills. You just need to make your opponent think you're going back, and then you make that change of pace.
And once you get that pace, it's usually a guaranteed shot on goal, but not always a guaranteed goal when Nick Pope is stood between the sticks, as we've just seen, as Mendy now plays it forward, or backward to Bruno Fernandes. Neymar back to Mbappe. 1-2 is available, goes for the directional nutmeg, receives the ball, but check comes off his line. Almost bubbled towards him, but better from M3MITO. Looks a bit more threatening going forward.
And as usual, when you're really good at skills and attacking like KRU Gustavo, you're usually really good at stopping them, right? So M3MITO actually tried the same directional nutmeg. How did KRU Gustavo stop it? Well, with LT and RT with his center back. You do a little bit like a small circle towards your goal, and that's how you anticipate that. If the player is going faster than your center back, then you need to let go of LT and just keep running. But that's how you can try and stop those skills.
There you go, wise words from a fantastic pro player as well, Bari, who I'm sure one day I'll have the pleasure to commentate over again. But for now, I have the honour to be commentating alongside you, and M3MITO needs a goal, really. I think he's going to be increasingly frustrated the longer he is behind, because Gustavo's defence is just so strong. I think that's going to be offside. It is. And M3MITO showing frustration in his player cam again.
And this was not on the ref. This is actually props to KRU Gustavo, because he is a very aggressive player when it comes to pressure. I mean, there's a reason why he's #1. We can pay attention when he's defending that he keeps using the offside trap consistently, but it's high risk, high reward. We saw that with Luis Rayado, right? So KRU Gustavo is really smart when he applies it. He just doesn't like to be pushed towards his box. We can look at it here. When he's gonna pass back, he's gonna go for the offside trap. Unless he gets the ball first, that's even better. But if he had passed the ball to the center, he would go for the offside trap, and that's how you stop that.
It's one of the things that really separates some good players from the best players, is the use of the offside trap. And Gustavo demonstrating that here. And now on the edge of the box here with Cristiano Ronaldo. Turning away from the man, and Ronaldo's managed to get on the end of it, and it's a nice fake shot. He fooled James once, but he did not fool him twice. And M3MITO was able to rescue it, but it only goes as far as Gustavo's midfield, as he's going to have another chance to try and break through and find a second goal here. Camavinga plays it to De Bruyne, back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's there for the through ball if he wants it. Kulusevski just throwing a few step-overs to try and confuse the defender. He's getting into dangerous areas now. Can he get a shot away? Bruno Fernandes, no, he can't. Mendy will rescue, and it's going to go out, I think. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a goal kick or a corner, because it's going to be the half-time whistle, Uli. What's your thoughts on that first half?
Good stuff from both players. You can feel the tension from both ends. And just this last play from KRU Gustavo, we saw McGeady spin cancel, right? Yeah, the timing has to be perfect, just in the middle of the skill. That's not seen as much as the croqueta cancel. I think it's tougher to actually perform at this level. And then I think it was not a fake shot, it was a shot cancel, which is one of the best mechanics that has been added to FIFA in recent years, I believe. But also with the skill gap that comes along with it, right? You need to time it perfectly, if not, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it was even nerfed because it was so good when it was introduced. It forced the defenders to kind of flop on the ground and try and block it. And it was a little bit too powerful, but now if implemented correctly, it can still work against even the best of defenders. But 48 minutes in then, and we're into the second half, and Gustavo still has that goal lead from the penalty, which was somewhat questionable. But M3MITO needs to put that to the back of his mind and perhaps focus on defending right now, and he does defend successfully. He needs to try and hit him on the counter-attack here. That's where he's found success against Gustavo. He's always been on these counter-attacks with those through balls before Gustavo has the chance to kind of set up shop in front of that box.
Yeah, because if you don't attack quickly against KRU Gustavo, this is what happens. That his defense settles in, and now how do you go past this? You know, he has, I don't know what tactic he has, honestly, because it just seems like his whole team is there, but in a perfect way. And then with manual pressure and then offside trap, how do you beat this guy's defense?
It just almost feels like they're line dancing at some point. So in sync. And then on the breakaway, he's still got the two strikers. He's got Mbappe and Ronaldo just waiting to get that ball. On this occasion, it's not going to work out for him, and M3MITO can win the ball back. And you can see how he's desperately wanting to take advantage of a little bit of space at the back before everyone does set up in that formation. And Sanchez will play it back to Reece James, who's marching forward. And look at the difference. I mean, there's only one defender back at this point. M3MITO just pushing everyone forward to try and counteract what Gustavo is offering, trying to give him more bodies to work with, more options to pass to. But even so, it's still so difficult to actually generate these passes and find success and find a way through. As Cristiano Ronaldo will turn, play it back to Cancelo. What can M3MITO do here to break through this defense of Gustavo? What's he got up the sleeve? Mbappe to Neymar, but can't get past James.
The thing is, you can't really complain about what KRU Gustavo is doing here, because one, he has the advantage. And two, he's amazing at attacking. So, you know, it's just when you see such a good offensive player, you don't usually see it be so patient and so good in defense. Like, you know, it's usually you're better at defending or attacking. This guy has the whole package.
Whilst it's very easy to look at it and see kind of 9 men in front of the box and say, oh, well, you know, he's playing toxic FIFA and he's just putting everyone behind the ball. It's what he's doing off the ball as well. It's his player switching. It's how he's tracking those runs, how he's trying to intercept those balls. He's doing everything he can with the addition of 9 men in front of that box.
Yeah,
and it is just so difficult for M3MITO to break through. And this is where we need to see something just special from M3MITO. We know what he has capable of doing up in his sleeve, and we just need to see something from him.
Yeah, I mean, I can gladly analyze in the next Kid M3MITO's attack. If we actually look at it from Kid M3MITO's perspective, I mean, how KRU Gustavo is covering all the possibilities, and that's because he switches players so quickly, and that requires skill, and that requires intuition, right? That you think where your opponent's best chance would be, and then you don't let him think. You constantly pressure him at the same time. So it does seem like he has all his players in the back, but at the same time he's pressuring all the time.
And now if he can find a second goal, surely the championship will be his. As Mbappe turns, shifts it onto his right foot, can't get past James, gets the second bite of the cherry, but Cancelo will rescue. And time is slowly running out for M3MITO here. Whilst he will have a second leg to work with, every second that ticks away is another chance for Gustavo, but maybe M3MITO could do something, and that's something a little bit different. He sees the keeper coming off his line, and he dinks it over the top, and he's got his equaliser.
What a goal. I'll tell you something, it takes a lot of guts to score a goal like this in a grand final of a North American qualifier against this #1 in the region. It takes a lot, like props to Kid M3MITO's second chip shot goal he scores in these finals, and he celebrates it with passion. That's how you need to celebrate a goal like this. It's important, it's tough, but it's important to remember, right? To enjoy the game as well, even when you're under a lot of pressure. And this is just a beauty. And the timing, it's really tough. And to make this right, what he did is after running, you need to, just before going for the finish, for the chip shot, stop running. Just to stop running before you hit the chip shot. That way the timing is better. It's little details, right, that we sometimes don't see. But it's important that before you finish, you stop running.
I imagine that celebration was filled with a lot of relief as well, with how Kid M3MITO has just struggled for so long in the previous fixture and for the first 70-odd minutes of this first leg. And breaking through that defense of Gustavo, eventually he's rewarded, but now Gustavo could go down the other end and just regain that advantage. Cristiano Ronaldo, Elastico's away, Mbappe, Fernandez manages to rescue it. Trying to keep as unpredictable as possible as M3MITO will rescue and stop that ball from just bobbling through. And that's actually one heck of a challenge there. Gustavo keeping it, but then running the ball out of play.
The ball like that. No way. No, I was about to praise that tackle completely. Sometimes you have to do that, especially in the last minutes. But then I don't know what happened. It was like maybe fair play. It was like, you know what? That was too much. That was too much. I'm sorry. Have this one.
Maybe just switched off for a second. And now kicking M3MITO after being behind for so long in the first best of two and then in this first leg. Maybe has a chance at the end of this first leg to go ahead here. There's still a wall of pink players he's got to get past. But
Look
he could
at the
have
player
a
movement.
attack of this first
Look
leg.
at the player movement here, honestly, because it's not like all his players are back. No, he's pressuring all the time. Look, switches player pressures, switches player covers the possible pass, switches player covers the left back. Like, this requires a lot of skill.
It does. But will he make a mistake? Will M3MITO get past with Mbappe? He does. He turns onto the left, shifts it, but it's a great save. And oh, James has just intercepted it. Czech has done an absolute wonder save there for KRU Gustavo. And M3MITO, after being behind for so long, almost had the lead going into this second leg.
Wow, that's a tough missed chance. Kid M3MITO knows it. Because against Kru Gustavo, you don't get many like this. It actually comes from a bit of a lucky bounce. And then the save, it was crazy. A little bit of goalkeeper movement I noticed from Kru Gustavo. But then in the rebound, it seemed that Kid M3MITO's player was ahead, right? So yeah, sometimes it's just not meant to be. You need to take a deep breath, have some water, and yeah, you're still in the game. This is a two-leg game. It's there. Like Luis Rayado said, Kru Gustavo, yes, he might be the best. He might be the favorite for sure, but he's not invincible. So Kid M3MITO needs to show that he's not right here.
And what Kid M3MITO would love to do, I'm sure, would be put Gustavo's back against the wall. M3MITO has not had the lead against Gustavo throughout this entire grand final. And it would be how Gustavo reacts to that. That was the early penalty, which allowed Gustavo to take a goal lead in this grand final. And he held that lead for the majority of this first leg. And it was very frustrating for M3MITO. And there were chances for Gustavo to maybe make it two here. He's just so unpredictable in the box, very difficult to defend against. And I was thinking this was going to be a goal and this was going to be a chance. But then it was the counter-attack that allowed M3MITO to get back in the game. And all it was is just a shift of body weight. Mbappe getting round the defender. It made it look so easy. But that finish was something else, Uli. I mean, I know you were saying it's actually a lot of skill in that. Just slowing, not sprinting, timing it correctly. And now this grand final is poised perfectly for our second leg. It could have been a lead though for M3MITO. Frustration, probably, but now he needs to forget about that and just focus on 90 minutes of football to try and take the lead. And we will find our champion here in the North American qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being a bit too harsh on Kid M3MITO, on that last chance he had, maybe he could have gone for a finesse shot. Maybe, you know, but still, I think it was just honestly not meant to be. What a great save. And yeah, Kru Gustavo getting a bit of luck with that penalty. But also we have to say that he maybe should have scored another goal because he did get into the box of Kid M3MITO. And then we saw all these variations, right, in this replay. We see Maguire spin cancel, then directional nutmeg, then ball roll, fake shot, then shot cancel. So how do you defend that? You know, it's like so many variations in such a small time. So, and yeah, I mean, of course, there's a reason why this guy is top one in the leaderboard.
And when you're going up against a player like that, when you know they have that in their arsenal, I mean, how difficult is that to defend against someone? Do you sometimes, as a player yourself, overthink when you know that you're going up against a player who just has so much going forward?
You know, I think sometimes, I mean, in a good way, I mean it, but you have to lose that respect for that player, like, you know, for your opponent. I think like the name he is, like where he's in the ranking, what he's won, as in like go for a tough tackle, you know. Sometimes, honestly, actually Kru Gustavo did that, right? In the end, it's important to do those things to let your opponent know that you can also play tough, right? Because sometimes when he's doing all these skills, if you just stay back and don't go for it, he can notice that, right? So he's just gonna go all in. Whereas if you just take a risk, but actually take the ball from him, that will make him think twice before he starts spamming all these skills.
I mean, a fantastic insight as always, just the mental game that is FIFA esports. It's 1v1 for the most part. Yeah, okay, you've got coaches, but it's usually just you and your opponent. And maybe an early chance. Reece James almost put it in the back of his own net. And we are underway in this second leg and the final leg of this grand final, as Cristiano Ronaldo almost goes to ground but stays on his feet. A lot of players in the way. And Kid M3MITO will be able to break away here. I say that, but Kevin De Bruyne has rescued it. Mbappe now directional nutmeg around the man. Twists, turns, plays it across. James will hoof it away. And finally, Kid M3MITO can just hold on to possession a little bit here, but a frantic start to this second leg. And as a reminder, we have to find a winner. If after these 90 minutes it's still all tied on aggregate, then we will go to extra time and then potentially penalties. And the winner of that shootout will be the winner of this North American qualifier. Kid M3MITO was in the winner's bracket. Gustavo's come from the loser's bracket, but we could see Gustavo become a 2-times champion here in these North American qualifiers.
Yeah, and we're seeing Kid M3MITO taking some risks. We can see his fullbacks. Definitely in tactics, in instructions, he's telling them to stay forward, to always go forward. Because, you know, he's noticed that Kru Gustavo is so good at defense as well that he likes when you make possession. That it's like, okay, if I'm going to go for a counter-attack, I'd rather do it with my fullbacks on board. But then again, Kru Gustavo takes advantage of that, and then he can counter you, right? So then we come to these mind games. It's a bit of a chess game. I really like that about competitive FIFA. It's definitely more complex than it seems at first sight.
Gustavo has certainly had all the possession in the early stages of this second leg. And he's threatening the defence yet again here with Bruno Fernandes. Just a couple of ball rolls away from Walker, but he will win the ball back, and Mendy now can play it forward. And M3MITO can try and get some sort of counter-attack going, but Gustavo has not allowed it. Pressured him offensively. And it meant that there was not going to be any through balls to get through the defence of Gustavo. Instead, M3MITO is being made to work very hard just to keep possession here. And again, it just says a lot about Gustavo and how he player switches and pressures.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Okay, so Kid M3MITO is using his fullbacks, right? So to counter that, what Kru Gustavo is doing is he goes for high pressure. You know, it's like, okay, good luck getting out of your midfield without your fullbacks. So that's why he makes it so hard for Kid M3MITO. And now when he gets in this situation, Kru Gustavo enjoys this. You know, he's so confident in his defense. The problem is when he puts so many players in defense, the same, like, you know, to get out of your own midfield. So it's like similar styles, high pressure. I like it. Kid M3MITO going more for counters, and hopefully it will work. But those fullbacks so far are not doing so much. Like, actually, I think Kru Gustavo has no problem with them being in the wing.
Well, M3MITO's had plenty of possession in this phase of play, but again, just being greeted by a lot of defenders in his way, a lot of pink shirts. Mbappe will play it into Bruno Fernandes, and now it's here Neymar, but James has just done enough to stand in the way. And Kid M3MITO, I think, was probably already through there, but tried to turn back on himself, maybe not expecting to have that much space, and that could be a missed chance, as here's the through ball now for Gustavo. But James doing the job on the other end as well.
That was so rare. I think it's one of those chances in which even you can't believe, or you didn't expect that was it, right? He just expect to give the ball to Mbappe and then maybe with a skill take that defender. But he was already through. He should have just taken the shot. You know, it was just a weird moment. Talking about easy, clear chances, but at this level, you need to make them go in.
Oh, and almost breaking through. Well, that's the story of Kid M3MITO against Gustavo, really, is just always almost. That final ball almost gets through, that shot almost goes in, but Gustavo is always there and just making it very frustrating for M3MITO. But Gustavo doesn't have that lead that he's had for the majority of the grand final. They are all square, and things get a lot more tense, a lot more nerve-wracking when it is an even playing field. It's all well and good, of course, him defending the way he is and putting all those players behind the ball. All it takes is one counter-attack or one chance for Kid M3MITO to suddenly take the lead in this grand final, and then Gustavo needs to flick that switch and suddenly go on the offensive. This here's a through ball to Cancelo. What can he do from this right-hand side? Plays it back to Ronaldo. Man in the middle is Neymar, but Camavinga doing the job again. And now potentially a counter-attack for Gustavo. Nice through ball, but Pope quick off his line.
Yeah, again, it seems that when Kid M3MITO starts getting like a good chance in attack, he doubts himself for a little bit, right? But I'll leave you for this one.
Oh, almost again. But a keeper just too quick for Mbappe, and you saw the frustration there, Uli, from M3MITO. He knew how close he was.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, of course, they're both amazing players. Clearly, they're both nice guys. I honestly would like Kid M3MITO to win because he's such a veteran that I know how much this would mean to him, right? This is a chance that, because, I mean, Kru Gustavo, honestly, because of the current form he has, we will see him in many more events, right? For Kid M3MITO, this might be it, right? Like, you know, like I'm talking, like, he's already a veteran, and getting this far in a tournament is so tough. Like, FIFA as an esport now is so big, and it's so tough to get to the stages. He might have many more good rounds, still be there, make it to a broadcast for sure. But to actually win a qualifier in this nature, right, against the best player, I think that'd be such a nice way. Something that he will always stay with him for his career, right? But he knows KRU GUSTAVO is not gonna make it easy for him at all. This guy is just on fire. Like, this guy seems untouchable, and he seems comfortable with this situation, right? With the tight series so far. Whereas Kid M3MITO is struggling, right? Kid M3MITO looks like, I need a goal, like this, like I need this goal and just end this.
Offside flag is up. Mbappe. Wait, hold on a second. The flag went up, but
for a foul, I think.
It was for a foul, and maybe
weird,
Gustavo switched off there, but M3MITO had the chance. He probably would have seen that flag. But Mbappe not able to put it away, and Gustavo let off a little bit there. I think you're right. I mean, these referees, they're making some questionable decisions. They're trying to throw a spanner in the works at all times.
They just like the exposure, you know, they love it. They like to spice things up. Turn these games into a fiesta. I'm all on for it. So I like it, but they gotta stop. Like, they gotta stop. May the best win. They gotta stop with these crazy penalties, and let's see if KRU GUSTAVO can score here.
Bruno Fernandes shifts it across play, but James, with a sliding tackle, manages to intercept. It's the grand final. The referees can't get involved this much, surely. But for Gustavo, he was able to keep his cool. The keeper made the save for him, and he still does not find himself behind here. But more frustration, I feel, for Kid M3MITO. And you're completely right about what you said. I mean, nothing beats that winning feeling. If he can become a champion again, it's one to tell the grandkids, I'm sure. But for Gustavo, he's had success more recently and has the opportunity to become a two-time North American champion. Try and find that consistency and just assert himself as that #1 player on Xbox in North America. Is at the moment, though, he has to focus on defending. Neymar, Kulusevski, back to Neymar, and it's James who's always intercepting the ball.
Yeah, what a food item Reece James is. Also, Kyle Walker is so good, especially against counterattacks. But thinking about this whole competition, Kyle Walker has been involved with a lot of penalties, a lot. Yeah, and maybe it's because of his stats being more right back, that he's really good with pace, but not so good at one-on-ones.
It's always something that you have to consider. You do see some players get a little bit too much involved as Neymar plays the ball out right, and this is a potential chance! And there's the goal for M3MITO! And finally, across 4 legs of FIFA, he eventually takes the lead against Gustavo. After battling against a sea of pink shirts, he now has the chance to potentially hold on and become a champion here, as Gustavo goes straight into the tactics screen, Zuli.
I love the way he celebrated that goal. You can see how much this means to him, and I mean, of course, it has to be that way. I love also that he scored to near post. That was tough. That was tough because, you know, at first glimpse you would think you just cross it and just end it, but no, he actually gave himself some time to see if there was going to be any goalkeeper movement or not. He finds that pass, small mistake, rare from KRU GUSTAVO, leaving that wing wide open.
Wide open again now. Kulusevski, a chance to maybe put this game to bed. Bruno Fernandes plays across to Ronaldo! And just like that, it's a 2-goal cushion, it's a 3-1 lead. And Gustavo has been rattled at the back. Kid M3MITO, surely on his way to a title here.
Wow, talk about momentum, right? We mentioned this in previous games. In any game of FIFA at this level, even if you're Tex, even if you're MS Dosari, whatever, even if you're Dosari, I mean, you're playing against such good opponents that they will all have their momentum at some point during the game, right? It's just about who brings the best out of themselves in that moment, right? And here we're seeing Kid M3MITO. KRU GUSTAVO has had good chances that haven't gone in. They looked really dangerous, and now Kid M3MITO, finding that space. I think he finally figured how to beat Gustavo's defense. You mentioned it, counterattack, but yeah, maybe the variation that was missing was find the other wing, and yeah, that's the only way, because if you try to go for possession, which is actually more the meta, against KRU Gustavo, that doesn't work.
Well, after being behind for so long throughout this grand final, M3MITO now is not just ahead by 1, but ahead by 2. And time to fight fire with fire. I'm sure he's going to be putting all those players behind the ball now and trying to do just what Gustavo was doing to him. But Gustavo, he needs a goal if he's to get back into this grand final. Atal plays it back across to Bruno Fernandes. We need to see some of that attacking flair that Gustavo's offered all tournament long. De Bruyne twists and turns, but can't get past James, and every tackle is going to be absolutely massive for Kid M3MITO here, and what a header that is as well, to keep possession and also give him the potential chance of counter-attacking here. That left wing is available yet again. Mbappe now strides forward, through ball. Possibilities are there, but M3MITO is just looking to kill this game off, restrict the chances, keep possession.
Yes, I mean, this is really smart from Kid M3MITO. Of course, KRU Gustavo going all in with constant pressure, with high pressure. But once you get past that first pressure, when you can get out of your box, you should do this, exactly. You should keep the ball in your opponent's midfield. And when he actually loses his temper and goes all in, offside trap, spams it, then you can counter and just finish, seal the deal.
One more goal would most definitely seal the deal if it hasn't already been vacuum sealed by this point. Kid M3MITO has the 2-goal advantage, has possession. Gustavo chasing the ball. And I'm sure there's some viewers who are probably quite enjoying this after how defensive Gustavo did find himself in this grand final at times. And again, you can't blame him for playing the way he did, but M3MITO, against all odds, has come back into it, found a lead, and now just has 6 minutes left to hold on. But maybe a chance for Gustavo here could change things. Great save from Pope, and that could be a championship winning save. Gustavo not able to find the back of the net. M3MITO back with possession, and time again to kill off here.
Yeah, I think this is arguably it. I mean, either he scores here or not. I think he's already done it. He knows it. He just needs to finish with style. KRU Gustavo knows it's really tough to score 2 goals in 2 minutes of FIFA. I mean, it has happened probably like once or twice in history, but it's really tough. He's being smart. He's going for the 3rd goal. I like it. He's not just wasting time. There's no need for that. When you're winning by 2 goals, honestly, just keep going, right? Finish with style. Exactly, and that's what he's doing right now, and I respect that.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be another corner. There's only a minute of added on time. And after a long 3-year wait, Kid M3MITO is going to be a champion again of North America. He wins the qualifier. He takes down previous champion Gustavo, and what a feeling it must be for him. He's waited quite some time, and he quite rightly has a smile on his face. Commiserations, of course, to Gustavo after another excellent tournament, almost coming back from the lower bracket. But the story is about Kid M3MITO being our champion. Uli, I mean, this must be the best feeling for him. He must be on top of the world right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so clear. So I'm so glad for him. Congrats, props to Kid M3MITO. It's just the reward for continuously trying each season, right? Continuously trying, because it's tough. When you're a veteran, more new players come, new talents, and it's tough to stay in the top. And he's done that in the US, in North America, and I represent Chicago Fire. Completely deserved. And KRU Gustavo, I mean, he's probably gonna wake up tomorrow still being #1 in Xbox in the ranking, right? He's thinking more about playoffs, FIFA World Cup. For Kid M3MITO, with this, he assures completely he's gonna be in playoffs, and he now can dream of an amazing, even more amazing season. But this, what is happening right now, this moment, no one's ever gonna take that from him.
Well, a picture says 1,000 words. Gustavo a little bit dejected, but Kid M3MITO, relief and happiness, and quite rightly too, as Kid M3MITO will be your North American qualifier champion. Chicago Fire, I'm sure, will be very happy. We're going to go for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be analysing that game and, of course, maybe having a little chat with that champion you see on your screen. So do not go anywhere.